First of all, I believe we have an oath to be done for Guy Desi.
Good morning, sir. Please raise your right hand. How do you pronounce your last name?
Desai.
Desai. Okay. Repeat after me, please.
Sure.
I, Guy Desai,
I, Guy Desai,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
or affirm that I will support,
or affirm, and I will support,
protect, and defend the Constitution
protect, and defend the Constitution
and government of the United States
and the government of the United States
and the state of Florida
and the state of Florida
against all enemies, domestic or foreign,
against all enemies, domestic or foreign,
and that I will bear true faith,
and I will bear true faith,
loyalty, and allegiance
loyalty, and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
and that I will in all respects
and I will, in all respects,
observe the provisions of the charter and ordinances,
say that again.
observe the provisions
Observe the provisions
of the charter
of the charter
and ordinances
and ordinances
of the city of Daytona Beach Shores,
of the city of Daytona Beach Shores,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties as planning and zoning
the duties of planning and zoning,
board member for the city of Daytona Beach Shores,
board member of the city of Daytona Beach Shores,
on which I am now about to enter,
on which I am now about to enter.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Okay, you've been sworn in, sir. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Okay. I'll have him sign.
Officially. Alrighty, has anybody, were you able to read the minutes from last? Is there a motion for acceptance?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Lady, Sherry, if you can have a,
You can say, all in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you, Sherry. So we'll start our first, the quasi judicial hearing on zoning variance ZV 12023038. Do you need to read it, or?
No, I think Noel has a presentation for us.
Great. Noel?
I'd like to swear in.
Okay.
Oh.
This is a quasi judicial hearing, so if you plan to give any testimony, if you
You've already sworn.
stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth during today's hearing?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Noelle Eaton, City Planner. This is zoning variance 2023-038 for the property at 2914 South Peninsula Drive. All of my presentation will show two requests for a lot width and a side yard variance. The applicant has requested to, what's it called? Withdraw, sorry, the side yard variance request. So the presentation will reflect both, and I will try and differentiate exactly what we are not going to review and then what is being reviewed. So the lot width variance is what is being requested today. Some background of this property, again, it's 2914 South Peninsula. It is owned by Thomas Caldwell, and the applicant is Joseph Posey from Storch Law Firm. He is here today. The property has a low-density residential land use and has two zoning classifications, the RSF1 and the RSF2. Both are titled the Urban Single-Family Residential Detached District. The property is approximately 0.887 acres, and there is currently a single-family dwelling on the property. Some more background. In June of 2022, city staff provided a letter of no objection to a lot combination of this property, which combined the properties known by addresses 2910 and 2914 South Peninsula Drive. I'll have an exhibit to show those two later on. The owner's intent is a proposed lot split to go back to that same configuration well, not now, as was existed back but prior to June 2022. There is one variance request. It is relief from section 14-16.4 of the LDC to allow a lot width of 10 feet in lieu of the required 85 feet on what is proposed as the northerly lot. Again, we are not reviewing the second variance request. This is a location map of the property. Highlighted in red is the subject parcel, and then for reference, the blue star in the bottom is City Hall, so it's just north on South Peninsula Drive. This is a current aerial view of the property showing the single-family home in that, quote, northerly lot section. There is a flag-style lot that provides access to South Peninsula Drive for that property, that single-family home, as well as there's an easement over top of it which provides access to this house back here along the river. So this is the aerial view and lot configuration in January of 2022. So you can see there was a single-family home here on this southern lot, and it went from South Peninsula Drive to the river. And then 2910 was the old lot configuration, which provided just access to South Peninsula Drive and was that flag-style lot before. This is just an aerial view of that southern portion showing the house that exists in the middle, known as 2908 South Peninsula Drive. And then you can kind of see behind the trees is that existing single-family home that's on the subject property. This is just the aerial view of that 10-foot wide piece of property that provides access to the back lots. And then again, the house at 2908 South Peninsula. This is the zoning map of the property. You can see how this southern lot is the darker yellow, which is the RSF2, and then this northern lot is the RSF1. There is still that access, it just doesn't show up very clear on this. So the property does have 2 zoning designations. This is just a section of code of where this variance request is coming from. The minimum lot dimensions of the RSF1 is a lot width of 85 feet. The variance request is the 10 feet based on the current configuration of the parcel, which is a difference of 75 feet. This is the variance exhibit, and so the yellow is the current configuration of the lot, and down here is the requested 10-foot lot width variance that's requested. The way our land development code reads, it's a combination of different definitions. So a parcel shall have frontage along a right-of-way. Frontage is then defined as, lot width is defined as the measurement at the back of the front yard. So this blue line here is the 30-foot front yard that's required in the zoning district. So the measurement of the lot width would be taken at this blue line, which is again required 85, and the request is for the 10-foot. This all other is of course the withdrawn request for the side yard, so I'm not going to mention that, but the property, the proposed lot line, is to meet the previous configuration, but the applicant has withdrawn that side yard setback request, so they will meet a 10-foot setback in the future with the proposed lot line. This is the criteria analysis that's in your staff report. These are broken into both variance requests, so we are going to ignore the 5.5-foot side yard setback and just review the 10-foot lot width. There are, I believe, 8 criteria. We'll go through them all for a variance request. The first one is that special conditions or circumstances which are unique to the property exist. Staff believes that this criteria is met based on the pre-existing shape of the property. The unique condition justifies that lot width variance. As you can see, did not justify the setback, which has been withdrawn. The special conditions or circumstances are not self-imposed or economic or financial. Again, it's based on that unique flag-style shape of the lot, which is not an action of the applicant. And staff feels that the right criteria of this has been met. Interpretation and enforcement would deprive the applicant of the zoning entitlements. Again, based on the definitions of the Land Development Code, it restricts these types of parcels from being created. So the criteria staff feels has been met for this specific criteria 3. Number 4 is that the minimum variance is needed. Staff believes that this criteria has met, again, based on the existing lot shape. There is no other way to get a frontage of 85 feet for that property. The variance will not authorize or extend nonconformities. This criteria has been met and will not authorize or extend any nonconformities. The variance is in harmony with the intent and purpose of the Land Development Code, will not be injurious to the area, and will not authorize an unpermitted use. Staff believes that this criteria has been met. Again, this property previously existed in this lot configuration prior to June 2022 without any issues. This is consistent with the type of development in that specific area of the neighborhood. The variance request is consistent with a comprehensive plan. It is, and that criteria has been met. This is just a summary of the criteria here. Again, pursuant to prior legal counsel and current, a successful variance means that all the criteria has been met. The lot width authorization criteria, staff believes that all 7 criteria have been met. Again, the side yard request has been withdrawn. All of our public notice requirements have been met and provided as per the record in the application. And staff is recommending approval of relief from section 14-16.4 of the Land Development Code to allow a lot width of 10 feet in lieu of the required 85 feet. And I'm available if you have any questions, and the applicant is here as well.
Thank you, Noel. Appreciate that.
Excuse me for interrupting. If I may, just some housekeeping items. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, so if if you could ask the members if there have been any ex parte communication. None? Okay, good. Second thing is if we could have the applicant actually state on the record or request on the record his request to withdraw the second variance for setback. Yes, sir.
Do you want right now?
Yes.
Okay. That's fine.
Good morning, Joey Posey, 420 South Nova, attorney for the applicant. And yes, that's correct. We will be withdrawing the side yard variance. After discussion with the client, we felt it was maybe a little too premature because without an actual layout of the house, it's hard to tell you one way or the other how that variance is going to impact. And at this point, we said, well, if we can represent that we can meet minimum LDC requirements in terms of setbacks and dimensions, the only thing we can't control is that frontage, obviously, because unless somebody wants to give us the property, we're at the whim of how the property is laid out. So there's no objection on that regard. So yes, for the record, we are withdrawing the side yard variance request.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any questions for Noel?
I'm just curious of what changed in the last year.
There is a new property owner. So the previous property owner combined the parcels, and a new property owner has purchased the property as one.
But the vacant lot, there's a for sale sign on it, correct?
That was an old street view.
Oh,
It was for sale. His client has purchased it in January of 2023.
oh, okay, I understood, because one of the pictures had the for sale sign, but one, I drive by Peninsula all the time, I didn't see a for sale sign on that property.
It's been purchased.
Okay. All All righty. Any other questions? I just have a confirmation on the variance that we have as a city. It's not numbers that we just make up. Those are based on various aspects of fire safety, utility, maybe even, property damage. Can you elaborate why those variants are in place?
Yeah, I might need a little help. But yeah, so our land development code has various zoning districts. We have a few single-family districts, we have several commercial districts, and then we have different sized properties throughout the city. The city tries to assign the most fitting zoning district based on either parcel size, size usually is the most apparent one. And then through that are the setbacks, coverage requirements, building coverage, and all of that is, yes, to incorporate life safety, fire safety requirements into the zoning designation districts. So a variance request is, yes, a deviation from what our code requires.
Appreciate it.
Stuart might
Is
help.
what were you asking for, Mr. Chair? Were you asking about the criteria itself, or were you talking about
The main reason for my questioning is to enlighten our new members, because I know for many times we look at your criteria, at least it's very important when you evaluate the criteria, and I just want to make sure the board understands what your criteria is focusing on. And it's not just a made-up number, there's reasoning behind the variance that we have.
So just to build on what City Planner Noel Eaton has mentioned, the dimensional requirements that we have, and any city has in its land development code, are a function of safety and other aspects, but also the character of the community that that particular local jurisdiction wants to have. In terms of the criteria that is evaluated for the variance, those are based primarily on case law.
Thank you so much for that clarification, Stuart.
Welcome.
Alrighty then. Any other questions or concerns?
I just had a question. The house that butts up against the river, would that be possible if that was a vacant lot and with the entryway based on our code right now,
Let me pull this up.
given that there's
Are you talking about this here,
all the way back?
this one?
Yeah.
So that property is actually located in Volusia County's jurisdiction. It's not in the city limits of Daytona Beach Shores, so it has different zoning
Okay.
based on Volusia County's requirements. Same with this property in the front. It is also in Volusia County. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, so based on our code, it wouldn't be possible.
Possible to,
Build that same house on that
oh,
other one.
I'm not familiar, unfortunately, with the county's regulations. I know they're very similar, but I don't want to speak for the county's regulations. But if they can meet the county regulations, then I suspect they would have an entitlement to do so.
I see.
our code also, if let's say this wasn't in Daytona Beach Shores, our code allows property owners to build on a parcel of land so long as they meet the setback and dimensional requirements of the land development code. So if it's an existing lot of record, it is a
Okay.
buildable lot.
I see.
Thank you, Noel. Any other further questions or comments? Is there, sir?
Public comment?
Okay,
Is it-
I found this on the web
Uh-oh.
for Acer, sir. Check it out.
Uh-oh. Is there a motion?
Let's open for public comment.
Oh, open for public comment, I'm sorry.
Can I add one piece?
Sure.
This is more of a clarification, but I couldn't help myself. And I just wanted to make sure I focused on, again, this is Joey Posey, 420 South Nova. Just to clarify that, this is really an implication of combination, that the previous owner found some advice, somebody told him it was a good idea, that he decided to combine his two lots. Had that never happened, we wouldn't be here.
Thank you for that clarification.
make a motion, based on the recommendation of staff, that we approve the lot with authorization for ZV12023038 as presented.
Second motion.
Thank you. Sherry?
Mr. Pollard?
Yes.
Mr. Desai?
Yes.
Mr. Deloche?
Yes. All righty. Thank you very much.
Clean.
Action items for the meeting for next month?
Yes. You have anything set right now?
Not at this time.
Not at this time, but just in case that we can all have it in our
Yes.
schedule, it would be falling on the 13th?
I'm looking right now, so. Yes, the 13th.
All righty. Just to make sure, it's because everybody seems to be busy. I want to make sure everybody has that date. All righty then. Any other questions, comments, concerns?